Okay, Dave, what's the difference between an appearance and an arrival?
All right. Well, this is simple. So let's just talk about an appearance since we have appearances that we can talk about. The appearances that I like to talk about are the Sacramento Kings, right?
Hmm.
And the other team I like to talk about is the Memphis Grizzlies, man. Those teams appear, right? They do some great things. They make some,
No flash in the pan.
yeah, that's right. A little flash in the pan, right? And that's the thing that is concerning for somebody that's looking at this Oklahoma City Thunder team. They're looking at this team and they're saying, okay, what is this team? Is this team like that Memphis Grizzlies team, or is that this team like the Sacramento Kings team where they do really, really well and then next year they come back and they just suck balls? So to me, like that's where this team is different. Like I've been saying it for a long time is that what we have in Oklahoma City is this desire to win and desire to do better in every single season. That's what drives his team. That's what makes his team different. And knowing that this team is going to go to the offseason healthy and they're going to work their asses off and get better and become better. They're going to go play in the Olympics, some of them. And the ones that don't, you know for a fact, are going to hustle like nobody's business because they've got something to prove now. And to me, like this is exactly where we need to be as a team. So the difference between an arrival and an appearance is an arrival, a team is coming back over and over and over again. Whereas an appearance is like a flashbang. Boom. All right, we'll see you in the first round and exit in the first round for the next few years.
And sometimes you'll think for sure that a team has made an arrival, and then it'll be an appearance. Last year, we were looking at the Mavericks, and we were wondering, like, they made the conference finals, and then they missed the playoffs, right? So were they one of those teams that had made an arrival or an appearance, and it was like, well, maybe they appeared and then they disappeared and they appeared again. Like
Sure.
that's not really an arrival, although, I mean,
Bro, they were a tweener until they made the trades to get the players they did. Gafford, and I think it was Jones or Washington, whoever they were able to pick up. They were able to get out and fill the needs that they needed to. So
a
they
lot
were
like
they were they were an appearance
yeah,
until the trades.
a lot like the Heat or maybe a team with LeBron James over the last few years. Like they get right up to that trade deadline,
Yeah,
and they make a massive shift,
sure.
and they can make a run, right? But does that mean that we're looking at a team that has solved the problem? Are they going to be able
Well,
to
I
win
got a
enough
question.
games to guarantee good seeding next year? I mean,
Sure.
are we actually looking at a team that's arrived, or are we still looking at a team like the Mavericks? They might even make a finals appearance, but is that actually an arrival as a dominant team in the West?
Let me ask you this: Is there anything broken with the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Okay,
Broken.
let's dig in.
Broken.
Let's
What
dig
what
in.
what is broken with the Oklahoma City Thunder? Because to
Other than
my point
one
is
thing, go
that
ahead.
there's damage, right? But nothing's broken. Okay, like I
I would
understand that.
say that, man, there's a lot of fans that are broken.
Sure. I think you just got to get to this, and you got to understand if there's nothing broken, right? Then we don't need to make big changes. What we need to do is make small little adjustments. All right, we'll just call them. I know we got a lot of tweakers out there, so we'll call them a little tweak. You know what I'm saying? That's all we need, right? That's all we need. We need a little bit of a tweak right now. We need a little bit of a readjustment. Get to a good chiropractor, but we don't need to make a huge splash. Like, do we need to get Paul George? No. Do we need to trade Josh Giddy? No. I mean, are some of these things could happen? Sure, but we don't need to go out and make a big splash because things aren't broken. It's called development. When we get a chance to develop our defensive rebounding, we get a chance to develop some other aspects, we'll be better. We got the draft, we've got free agency that we can fill these needs, and we've got an incredibly upset Gordon Hayward. Like, what else do we want, man? We got everything we need.
Dude, let's talk because you mentioned it. All right, so I mean, you outlined the team pretty well. You know, coaching's in good situation. Our stars in great
Sure.
situation. We got a big three that everybody's excited about. We got a bench for days. We got Lou Dort that people seem to be good with now. But Josh Giddy is like this flashpoint, and there's a lot of people who have opinions about this that don't really know a lot about basketball.
Sure.
But my the thing that I always get tripped up on with this is you have the team that's number 1 in the West, right?
Thanks, son.
And there's still a group of people who think about this team as in addition through subtraction. Like,
Sure.
we'll be better if we get off of Josh Giddy and we just move someone else in that starting point in the spot,
Sure.
and then just like he's on a different team. And I'm like, how can you have the best team in the West by record in the regular season? Yes, we need some experience to get to the conference finals and get to the finals, but regular season record, best record. Why are we sitting here saying now we need to go in and fuck shit up? And hopefully, Josh Giddy only represents the stats, not necessarily off-ball movement, not like he's actually helping get what coach wants done out there. Like, there's an assumption that he's not rebounding and his game is complete shit. Even though he had a hell of a March, dude, he was able to put up a great statistical shooting line there too.
Sure.
I don't understand why people are so convinced. And when you listen to Josh talk in the
let's get to the
press
basics.
conference, dude, this guy wants to be around. So I'm not exactly sure why so many people are ready to move off of him.
Let's get to the basics, man. Let's have a little history lesson about Oklahoma City, guys. All right. Anybody that's not from Oklahoma City needs to know about what's happening here. So way back when Oklahoma City became a state, or Oklahoma became a state, it was actually the city was in Guthrie. All right. But this dickhole of a reporter kept on making fun of the governor and saying things that weren't true. Right.
So
and
he decided.
So he decided to move the capital to a different city. And that's where they decided to move it to Oklahoma City, right? It's because of the reporters. Okay. And if you look back to the first Oklahoma City Thunder team, what brought this team to their knees was the reporters. What caused issues was the reporters. What caused issues to the beginning of Oklahoma? The fucking reporters, man. So what do we have to do in order to get this team better? First of all, we've got to make a couple of adjustments. Coach was doing a great job at teaching Josh Giddy his new role. Now that Josh Giddy understands his new role, what he's going to have to do is show us now what his new role is, because he didn't buy in to the new role. He had this idea of what the new role was for him, and he didn't buy in all season. There was moments that he did, but coach obviously would have played him way more than 25 minutes a game if Josh had got on board on that. All right. Now that's not me picking on Josh. That's not me picking on coach. That's just laying it out right here, is that coach and Josh were at odds at what Josh's role was going to be. All right. Because you can't play a starter for 25 minutes and say, okay, he's understanding his role. Because if he was understanding his role, then he would have played more minutes. He would have got 30, he would have got 35, just like the rest of the starters, right? Simple as that. So Josh Giddy in the playoffs comes out, and what happens? Well, Josh Giddy's role that coach was trying to teach him all fucking season, guess what went? Boom. Derek Lively, stuck on you. Gafford, stuck on you. Well, no, Josh didn't learn the lessons that coach was trying to teach him. This is not picking on Josh. This is two guys, right, that are becoming roommates, essentially, that have lived with other people and now are trying to figure out how to have an ongoing relationship on a court. Okay? That's what's going on. Well, guess what happened during the playoffs? Josh Giddy figured it out. Josh Giddy got it, right? And you see at the end of the season, now Josh Giddy got it, right? This is not in a situation where it's like, now we got to trade Josh Giddy because he finally got his role, right? No, now we go to the next season. We find out what Josh Giddy's role is going to be. Is that going to be coming off the bench and the general off the bench? Or is that going to be that starter as what he needs to be at that 30 minutes a game? And I'm telling you right now is that there is no better guy when it comes to spreading that ball out when Josh gets to the open floor. Who else is going to throw the ball into the imbalance? Josh is the best player in the league at doing that. Like, there's so many things that Josh brings to the team. We can't go out and get rid of Josh unless Josh wants to be gotten rid of. If he's like, hey, yo, trade me, I'm out. Then Presti will trade him. But that's not what's going to happen
Presti here. Will do that for anybody. And you're right. Let's Josh's role, as you put it, right, in his accepting of that role, came up to the point at the post-season press conference where, when asked about it, Josh said that he actually agreed with coach benching him, which I've never heard a player ever do, especially in a situation like that. And he said the reason was because he was in his head. He wasn't playing effectively. He even mentioned his drives, right? His drives, he weren't as crisp as he wanted to. He wasn't able to get around his guy. And so therefore, like, his shit wasn't working. All of a sudden, he's put into this pressure cooker called the second round of the playoffs, right? Like, there's no way I can be critical on anybody. I've seen players that were some of the best players that I've ever seen completely crumble. Like,
bad.
A great name, Sheldon Williams, a great Oklahoma basketball player. Okay, Carmelo. But Sheldon didn't have as long of an NBA career as Carmelo or whatever, but he was a hell of a player at Duke. You know, All-American at Duke, and great player. And then he gets in the playoffs.
Candace Parker.
Did Sheldon Williams?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shout out Sheldon. All right, but dude, like, what I found amazing was, like, you could watch him play all the way up, high school, college. You know what I mean? Like, and then all of a sudden he gets onto this stage, and it's actually, is it the stage that's too big for him? Is it the level of elite athlete that is running at him at a different intensity? You know, I don't understand exactly what it is about the playoffs, but some people, like, understand what's coming and they handle it. And some people, it takes 2 or 3 playoffs for them just to come through and start figuring out how to bring their best in that environment. It's not automatic for everybody.
Sure.
And the people who, like, maybe they'll get 3 chances and they'll fail all 3 times, right? Yeah. Some people don't get that many chances. And some people enter the playoffs when they're 20 or 21 and 22 and 23. And by the time they're 26, right, they're seasoned at a level that the other guys aren't. And so for Josh to come out and not just sit there and be like, and guys, this is the hardest thing in human nature, right? Like, that person's wrong. If I had played, I would have been able to do that. I would have been able to help the team. I could have helped us win. We lost by 1 point. I played 12 minutes. I was effective. If coach had just played me, his family saying that behind closed doors to each other, like, man, we wanted to see Josh play. His old coaches are saying that. His friends are saying that. Everybody's saying that. And Josh sits there and he says, it's my fault. I'm going to look in the mirror and I'm going to go out and I'm going to get better. I'm going to come back so good that this isn't going to happen next year. And you have to say, like, damn, dude, like, could you imagine how, like, if you suddenly just said, okay, yeah, but go somewhere else. And he goes and he does that for someone else, we'd be giving away a goddamn playoff superstar. Sure. And it would be just because some people were impatient. And that person who's not going to be impatient is Sam Presti. Because to make this a rival, well, at this moment, it's an appearance. To prove that it's an arrival, that's what happens next, right? And you have to stack days. You have to stack years to suddenly just be like, eh, boom. And to shortcut the process, that's not Sam. It's never been Sam. He wasn't going to come in and bring in some all-NBA talent and try to make that work, right? He was going to bring them in before they were all-NBA talents through the draft or for a trade like Shea. But he was also not going to trade away somebody just because it seemed like they were slumping or they had a tough year. I mean, it's so goddamn tough. Like, there's nothing I can say that will make Josh or his biggest fans or his biggest detractors feel any different way. But I will say this, as someone who studied Jason Kidd's game, like, since he was in college, I'll say this about him. He saw himself in Josh Giddy. And he knew that Dallas needed to target Josh to get him out of the game. The same way Houston wanted to target Lou Dort because he was making it hard for James Harden his rookie year. So you don't target somebody that's like you can secretly pick apart and isn't hurting you. You target somebody that is doing something that you can't stop. So you need to get them off the court on your side. And what Josh brings, if he feels comfortable with a free-flowing offense, is the ball movement that we were noticing kind of seemed stagnant as the games would get on. Well, Jason Kidd had invested in that game and made sure that Josh wasn't on the court when we needed ball movement. And he played at Josh every single time. They came up with an extremely effective approach. This approach will literally work 1 year because Josh is going to work so hard. But the drop coverage of just putting, like you said, Gafford or Lively on him, and then just letting them basically play a zone off of Josh and running somebody out really late and anticipating the increased pressure of the situation and coach's shortened leash would really put Josh in a spot where each shot was a huge shot, which isn't really how Josh was shooting like in March. In March, he was just shooting every ball like it didn't matter. And that's great.
Sure.
That's what we need to get him back to. But to get him to where he's shooting like that confidently in the playoffs, well, you can't have one good month and then make a playoff run like that.
No.
That's a whole season, Dave. That goes like you're saying. Like Josh learned what he needed to, what coach was trying to, and yeah, bites.
If Josh didn't catch what coach was trying to teach him at the end of the season like he did, bro, we would be saying Josh is the first guy out of here. But he understood. Like, you get that in what he was saying at the end. This is not what coach is like, this is what you need to say, Josh. Because there was emotion behind what Josh was saying. It was like, I fucked up. I cost us because I didn't learn my lesson. Like, that's what I felt from what Josh was saying. And that's the type of guy that you want. You want to take on your team. You want to put him amongst the guys and say, learn, learn, learn. Because, like, if you're not willing to give that an opportunity, then what are we talking? Like, anytime that there's a guy that doesn't get it for a series, we just go back and trade him. Like, we don't want to teach that. Like, if Josh wants out, Josh goes to Sam and says, I want out. And Sam says, I'll find a place for you. That's how this goes, guys. Because Sam is not going to give up on Josh. Sam will not give up on Josh. That's not what's happening here. Coach D is not going to give up on Josh. We're not going to give up on Josh. I don't care what Oklahoma City Thunder podcast is out there saying, trade Josh and this round trip, or this pick in order to get blank player, big man, whatever. Like, there is enough big men on the open free market, Valanciunas, that if Sam wants to go, we got $30 million to play with. We can go and get one of those big men that we need to. But I'm telling you, that's a big adjustment. This team isn't broken. Nothing is broken with this team. We're damaged. We're hurting. We'll figure it out. We'll put it back together. And coach and the guys and the training staff are going to do a better job at teaching defensive rebounding this off year. It's going to be a staple. We're not going to be giving up double-digit offensive boards all season. We're not. That's not going to happen this next year. Just like the year before where we had a ton of turnovers every season or every game, like 2 years ago, whatever it was. And then the next year we came back, right? And what happened? We cut the turnovers out. The year before that, our defenses were hurt. Our defense was hurting, period. What happened? Coach came back and highlighted that area the next year. We got better in that area, right? Our defense now is a top 5 defensive team in the league. I would even say top 3. So let this coaching staff develop the players. And I'm telling you guys, instead of throwing in the ringer and saying, or the towel saying, let's get rid of Josh, let's get rid of Isaiah Joe, let's get rid of blank, let's get rid of blank player. Like, listen, Sam Presti has Gordon Hayward that he can try sign and trade. This new bargaining whatever CBA. There's a lot of things that I don't understand 100% with it, but it will be made known as soon as the season's over. Like, what Sam can do with Gordon Hayward, what we can do with all the other players like that we're going to look at and say that, we don't need on this team anymore. There's those players. There's going to be every single year we're going to look at the draft and we're going to say this player's better and we're able to pick up this player from the free agent market. We're going to lose this player next year. So guess what? We went in and traded him. That's fine. That's what this team is all about. I got to say, Kenny Hustle, right? Everybody wants to say about the step back that Kenny Hustle did. No. We need to focus on the improvement of what we saw with Cason Wallace, right? Not just that, but we saw the massive improvement with Isaiah Joe, right? And the other guy was Aaron Wiggins, which is proving to be one of the better players on our team. Like, Aaron Wiggins came out of nowhere, man. And like, what improvement that he did this season to me was the fact that he is willing to do whatever it takes. Those back doors, that we call him king of the back door because he's always cutting back door. That's what Josh Giddy needs to get good at this offseason. Josh Giddy needs to recognize that the back door needs to be the thing that Josh Giddy scores on most of the time. Because if he does that, right, it takes away any big man just being able to stand there and wait. Because look at what Aaron Wiggins does, man. He's probably scores 4 to 6 points a game from the back door. Okay, so to me, that's exactly what we need to see this team do and make the small adjustments with Josh Giddy. And that goes back to how to play against the big man, because now that Coach Kidd laid it out, everybody's going to do it.
Shit, dude. It's a copycat league. So, I mean, but like, dude, it's been a hell of a year. Like, we weren't supposed to get out of the first round. We got the first seed, so we ended up playing a team that we could beat that wasn't full strength. So, but in general, if you're looking at like coming into the season, what our goals were, right? It's like, we got to get to the playoffs, right? Get to the playoffs,
Sure.
Get a taste. Well, we got a taste and then we got some. You know, we got game 7 of the second round was really 1 point away. And I don't want to go in on Coach D because I really thought he did a hell of a year. But my hope is in the future, if given the same exact scenario, right, you can challenge something and try to take points off, or save that timeout and advance to half court and play for a shot to win. Man, I hope he takes that shot to win with Shea out there. I know it's a situation and all this stuff, but I've had the belief as someone who's coached before that if you have a shot to win it at the end, then you've done everything right. You don't need to win every game, right? But if you've played the game down to the point where you have time to drop a shot at the end, then you've played the game as well as you can hope to going into the game. Now, looking back after the game, you'll be like, well, we could have cleaned this up. We could have done better here. This didn't need to happen. But the idea is every game, every single game, if you can play it for a shot to win, then shit, dude, you're doing the right thing.
Man, I think that's a good, just in general with life, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you just go out there and hustle and be all right. I mean, I think that's what we're talking about this team. Why do we always think that this team is going to get better off of every year? People say there's going to be a point where this team's not going to get better, and I get that. But I mean, when there's a desire to be the best and the desire to do good, like, there's no slowing it down. And I think that's what this team is what we're seeing right now. But, in front of us is that whether it's Josh or Kaysen or Isaiah or Lou Dort, I mean, these guys are role players learning their role. And Lou Dort has done an incredible job. How many times did we hear about all these people saying, trade Lou Dort? He can't hit layups. He can't hit 3-pointers. And we would always say, hold on to Lou Dort. He's going to hit those layups. He's going to hit those 3-pointers, right? And this year he did. He's only going to get better because he's proven that he can do it. So our role players are just that. Our role players will become better. And when our role players are better, they're going to highlight what our stars are. Chet, right? We've got a beautiful star trio, man. Like, people will sit there and be like, oh, Chet's your next star, right? And then be like, no, J-Dub's your next star. Like, we already got a star, right? Shea. But who's the next star? Like, it doesn't matter right now because we have the whole offseason to sit here and debate about it, because that's how good this team is. We're not like any other young team where they're like, we already have everybody worked out. We're sitting here and saying, who's going to develop quickly? Who's going to be a better player in the next couple of months? Who are we going to draft? Who's going to come here in the free agency? Who are we going to trade for? Like, there's so many answers that are left unanswered right now. But I guarantee you this, guys, there will be a trade. There will be a draft pick, right? And there will be a very, very clear understanding of who that next player that we can understand will be it for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was a hell of a year, guys. We really appreciate everybody sticking with it for the whole season. It was touch and go for a little bit in the middle part, but we it means a lot that you guys continue to like reach out to us and give us um shout outs and just let us know that you're thinking of us. It's Dave's getting ready to off and move again, and I'm still unpacking for my latest move. um in the middle of the move, my wife and I both, we lost our jobs. That was in June. Yeah. So kind of like figuring out how to like survive and move and get this stuff. Housing insecurity and podcasting don't go together very good. So, we did the best we could, but in the end, we've been in the process of, launching a business and really getting things going, getting set up here in Delaware. So it's been a really crazy journey, but I know next year, I feel exactly like everybody listening right now. This intense excitement that like we're for real. We're going to be here in a big way in the future because like we have a team that's set to win for a decade, maybe two. So what we're hoping to do is just, be here to watch it with you guys and continue to enjoy it. And I'm telling you, man, when some of those days were really, really dark and I felt like I didn't have many people out there, sometimes I'd just jump on, I'd see all these new messages being like, where you guys at? We love you. Don't worry. We see what's happening on the court. It's exactly what you guys told us was going to happen this year. You guys knew we wanted to be there with you because we predicted all of this. But in the end, when life hits you in the balls, you got to take a second, put some ice on it, stand back up, make sure that you can, step up to hit that shot to win instead of just playing not to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And I just want to take a minute and I want to thank everyone, dude. We got over 10,000 thumbs up this year. 10,000 people liked our video. The other thing that was pretty amazing was we now are standing at 1,400 followers. That's pretty awesome because, yeah, dude, I never thought we could get up to that close to 1,500.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of love out there from people. And if you guys just ever take a moment, go look at the chats, go spend time, look at the live chats, look at the chats in general. We got a really passionate group following us, like just an amazing group of people that are willing to voice their opinions. We get a lot of trash talkers too, because Mark and I are very polarizing figures. Trash talkers from Oklahoma, San Antonio, Dallas, Minnesota. I mean, it doesn't matter, dude. It's all because what Mark and I say. We don't really apologize for what we say. We just say it and then just let it soak. We're very, very much like the Mormons like that. We like to let things soak and let somebody else stand underneath us and hit our bed a couple times to let everybody know we're here. Yeah, right. So my point about that is I just appreciate all of you guys. You guys have been amazing. You guys have listened to us for like 11,000 hours, well over 11,000 hours a month. All right, guys. So you guys are crazy, man. I don't even know what to say about that. We just appreciate you guys. There's not many people that would stick with us through these things. And like Mark said, we've gone through real life issues in the last couple of months and even a year. And being able to continue doing this with you guys has been amazing. So thank you very much. We love you guys. And we're definitely going to be back a bunch.